Good morning. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and it is my great pleasure, along with Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, to welcome you home to the revitalized, brand new, opened all over again, Westchester County Center. We're here today on Friday, February 24th, just before we begin the Section 1 high school basketball tournament here in what we all call the Mecca of high school basketball in Westchester County. We all have our stories. If we grew up in this county, I grew up in the city of Mount Vernon, a graduate of Mount Vernon High School. And of course, Mount Vernon High School is known for its basketball program. And many times as a teenage kid, I would pile in the car of other teenage kids to come to this very building to sit somewhere to watch the very best basketball played on this floor, played by future NBA basketball players. And then to also see professional women in due time play on this floor with the WNBA New York Liberty that played here for 2 years home games. And we had 3 years ago, just about at this very time, the reintroduction of the Section 1 tournament here in this room. It had been here for many, many years, and for a variety of reasons, was not here in the first couple of years of my opportunity to be county executive. But we negotiated with Section 1. We're very pleased that they're here, represented by Todd Santa Barbara, and we brought them back in for the tournament of 2020. And as soon as the tournament ended on a Sunday, a little later that week, we had our first case of COVID in Westchester County. And the first case became 100 cases, and then it became 1,000 cases. And we had to close this arena, and ultimately this arena, it's hard to imagine it, you'd have to see pictures of it, was turned into a medical health facility. It was used for vaccinations, for blood testing, and a host of other activities for almost 3 full years as we responded to the COVID crisis. But every day that this facility was being used to try to save lives, we knew that this day would come where we would reopen it once again as a recreational facility, and that we would have the benefit of seeing not only basketball but other sports and other entertainment in this facility. This facility was built almost 100 years ago. It's a beautiful Art Deco building. It has other features in this building besides the main room, but we're happy that it comes back in time for the 2023 Section 1 High School Championships, which kick off, I gather, on Monday with the first round of playings. It's both boys and girls high school basketball, and we are thrilled that they are back here in the center of the county at the Westchester County Center. We have a number of other people to introduce and remarks that I want to give, but it's important to understand just how far we've come over the course of this time. And we have a video that will give you a little insight into what that journey has been over the last 3 years.
We were prepared. We had to be prepared because the world really didn't know what was going to happen.
We were going to be a child care center. For a week, we worked with DSS and some people from here and the police to become a child care center. We leave Friday at 5. It was going to start Monday at 6. I get a phone call that we are turning into a hospital.
They were being completely dislodged, and even though they went to work every day in the same place, you're doing a whole different ballgame. And at one point, Veronica and Bill were working with 3 or 4 different groups, you know, whether it was the engineers, whether it was a contractor, or it was the hospital people, and they're all different personalities, all different needs.
You know, it wasn't pipe and drape and cots. It was full-blown walls and plumbing and heat and electric and oxygen and everything else.
This was not a one-man or one-woman show. This was a super team effort. Our staff really pulls together when we ask them to.
It was a little scary because sick people are coming in. We knew we were doing something good.
Having close to 400,000 people come through the doors of the county center absolutely indicates that lives were saved, because people were afraid to go other places. They might not have been able to get in another place, CVS or urgent care, but they felt comfortable coming into the county center. They were welcomed, literally open arms.
People have seen that we're open. A lot of our old events are calling, new events are calling, high schools and colleges are calling again because they want to come back.
Having basketball start off, it couldn't be better. And as we've said, and as the county executive has said numerous times, the last event we did 3 years ago and the first that we're doing 3 years later, it couldn't be better.
Our staff will be doing a high five and a hurrah. We really will, because everybody wants to get back to what our building is.
And this is how far we've come. We've come a long way to get back to this point. We owe a debt of gratitude to the New York State Office of General Services, OGS. It was their technical skill, along with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, that converted this facility into the medical facility and then turned it back to the facility that we have today, which is essential for us. In order for us to have basketball and other recreational back in here, we owe a debt of gratitude to them. We want to thank the state and the federal government for their role to play. I want to personally thank our Director of Operations, Joan McDonald, and our Deputy Director of Operations, Emily Saltzman, our Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, and her whole team, Kathy O'Connor. It was their leadership day by day by day that made sure we made this transition. And even as we honor the young people who are going to play basketball here, we should honor those in these administrative positions that never get enough credit to make this day happen. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Kathy. We're going to have a couple of comments. There will be some basketball before this is over. But I'd like to invite our County Parks Commissioner, Kathy O'Connor. You just saw her on TV becoming famous. I want to come to the microphone and talk a little bit about her perspectives. Kathy O'Connor.
Thank you very much, County Executive Latimer. I don't need to be famous. I'm just so excited and so happy to be here standing on our brand new basketball court. We bought this almost 4 years ago. Needless to say, it stayed in Ohio for a while because we had absolutely no room to store it here. So that's just one little story that we had. But we did get it about 6 months ago. It came in. We love it. It never looked better. On behalf of the Parks Department, I have to say thank you, and George will say it numerous times too, but under the supervision of Peter Tartaglia, the first Deputy Commissioner, who is, unfortunately, he's away. He had booked a trip long before we knew we would be opening, but he sends his regards. Neil Squilanti, our Deputy Commissioner, but also Veronica. You just saw Veronica on the film. Veronica's the manager. The assistant manager is Bill Schoenberg. And of course, everyone that has put this place back together again. And I affectionately call my staff a MASH unit because we seem to be able to kind of go anywhere within the county and fix, rebuild, redo, or do something new. So we are really, really appreciative of the work. They have worked tirelessly for the last 3 weeks. And we're ready. We're so excited working closely with Section 1. I've been here for a long time. We did, as the county executive mentioned, Section 1 had a little bit of a hiatus for a couple of years, but with Todd Santa Barbara and his wonderful team, he has worked closely with us, and we are thrilled to be back for the full week, the semifinal and the finals, starting Monday on the 27th and ending Sunday on March 5th. So we're really excited about that. I would also be remiss in not mentioning our wonderful home-style owner and operator, excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Al Schifatelli. Al, please stand up. On a lighter note, while it was in operation as a hospital, the staff never ate better. Not our staff, the people that worked here. And I got my vaccinations here, and the nurses were saying, oh my God, we had steak today and mashed potatoes. And that was due to Al and his wonderful team that realized that when things are really going awry, a good meal goes a long way. So thank you, Al, and to your staff. We really appreciated that. As I said, again, I'll close by saying we're so happy that we're here. As Veronica said in the video, Many, many people are calling. We love our signs that say we're back, we're home, and we really are looking forward to really regrouping. Just real quickly, 4 years ago, we put in another $5 million through a capital program in the lighting and the sound here. I can't show you all of it today, but it really looks like Madison Square Garden when we want it to be. So we had it just redone, just the dust from breaking down the hospital really threw it awry. It's now redone. The building has never been cleaner. So again, thank you to the staff all around me, and thank you for Section 1. And of course, thank you to the county executive, Deputy County Executive, and Director of Operations, Joan, for really, really helping us get this open earlier than we ever thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy O'Connor, our Commissioner of Parks and Recreation. I have a long list of names, and I'm going to read them, and I'll tell you why I'm going to read them. These are the people who worked here at the county center and put the sweat of their brow and the work of their hands to make all of this happen. My father was a maintenance man for all of his work life. My mom worked in a factory. It was by the sweat of their brow and the work of their hands by which my sister and I had the chance to go on to college and have a better life. And these people were my parents were unsung heroes in the world. I don't want these people to be unsung heroes. I want their names to be heard. If they're in the room, I want them to raise their hands, and I want you to give them the love that their hard work earns. Veronica Snyder, Bill Schoenberg, Mike Lanny, Michelle Borden, Tom Johannesson, Andrew Scarpati, Rich Schwartz, Mark Orlando, Nolan Egan, Lupe Aranda, Fernando Lagunas, Chano Garcia, John Ponce, William Leone, Marty Santangelo, Doug Arid, Joe Greco. If your hands are getting tired, their hands didn't get tired. Bill Schreiner, Edie Vasquez, Elvis Ucomana, Walter Williams, Amada Ponce, Marcela Alviar, Jeff Wright, Alec Gutierrez, Claudina Santos, Miguel Diaz, Gabriel Federic, Dante Briscoe, Joe Petrozelli, Joe Wynn, Irma Molina, Carla Molina, Glenville Taylor, and Jeff Dotto. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that none of you are in the witness protection program, and I've just outed you, so let's hope that's not the case. Next, we're going to invite to speak Section 1 Executive Director Todd Santa Barbara. Section 1 is, as I'm sure you know, the group of schools together that form an athletic conference that is more than just Westchester County. Todd may go over the turf, but it's other counties in the lower Hudson Valley. They work together as a group, and that's not always easy given the different nature of all the different schools. Back during the pandemic, at one point, the former governor put on the local county executives the authority to determine whether or not we would have what was called high-risk sports at the time. And at that point in time, those of us who were county executives turned to Section 1. You're the people who know how high school sports functions in this region. What's the best strategy? So we've relied on their professionalism, and they in turn have given us great sports and great career opportunities for the young athletes so that they can advance themselves beyond their high school years. So we'd love to hear from Todd Santa Barbara.
Thank you, County Executive Latimer. It is a great honor to be here today joining Westchester County in the celebration of reopening the doors to the infamous Westchester County Center, home of the Section 1 basketball championships. I would be remiss if I did not start by acknowledging the hard work and extensive collaboration with Kathy O'Connor, Commissioner of Parks and Recreation, Veronica Snyder and Bill Schoenberg, and the rest of the Westchester County staff who have put in tireless hours getting the venue ready for what is going to be a great week of basketball in Westchester County. As a member of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, Section 1 provides equitable and safe competition for students of public, private, and parochial member schools. The section is comprised of 77 high schools from Dutchess, Putnam, Rockland, and Westchester County. The organization serves over 65,000 student athletes and is responsible for the planning and facilitation of 32 championship events. Over 7,000 student athletes participated in grades 7 through 12 in the interscholastic sport of basketball last year, all of whom aspire one day to play in the historic Westchester County Center with one goal in mind: to raise the gold ball at midcourt when the final buzzer sounds. It is truly amazing to see the transformation of the Westchester County Center that it has undergone. First, this storied space was converted into a medical facility as part of the greater effort to serve and address the needs of our county in battling the COVID-19 pandemic. And now it is returning to serve as once again the premier venue to host our championships. To echo the sentiments of the county executive, as the last sporting event to be played in the county center in March of 2020, how fitting it is for Section 1 to be a part of reopening its doors. Our basketball sport chairs, whom are here with us today, Christian Hodge, Chris Chasopoulos, the championship committee, and the Section 1 executive committee remains focused on offering premier championship events for our student athletes. And being able to renew our partnership with Westchester County reinforces the value that we place on collaboration to build the best possible championship experience for the student athletes and school communities within Section 1. Without prestigious venues such as the County Center, we would not be able to fulfill that mission. This is truly a special time for Westchester County and Section 1 athletics. We are excited and honored to be the bookends as part of these collaborative efforts to reopen the doors and pick up where we left off. Thank you.
Todd Santa Barbara, and we appreciate Section 1 and the leadership and their willingness to bring it back here to the county center, and we know we're going to put on a good tournament for you with your young men and women. We're here also to give a tribute to a person who I consider a friend of mine, and there is a video that will tell you a little bit about that friend, Keith Yeiser.
This week, Section 1 athletics in the town of Mamaroneck lost a legend. If you knew Keith Yeiser, you were lucky. He was a loving husband, father, coach, mentor, and the most loyal person you could meet.
My father, he was a father to many, 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 many people.
Standing 6 feet 5 inches tall, Yeiser was a big presence wherever he went. That was never more evident than the 30 years he worked in the Mamaroneck School District.
The children were always first. He would step over an administrator, step over a parent to make sure that that child or that student got what they needed to be successful.
He didn't care what color you were, what your nationality was. He was there for you, encouraging all the kids and the adults, you know, and everybody's life is better because they had an opportunity to meet Keith Yeiser.
When he wasn't working, you could usually find him rooting on the Tigers. It didn't matter the sport, but when late February and early March came around, the king would take his throne.
This is an experience that's, I guess, similar to Madison Square Garden or anything else. This is the mecca of Westchester High School basketball.
Every day during Section 1's basketball championship week at the Westchester County Center, Yeiser would sit in the first row at center court. He was just as popular as the traditional gold ball trophy.
You know, when you go there, you see him, center court, the white hat on. Some people want to know, who is he? You know, how come he gets those seats? How come I can't sit there? That's what I'm going to miss the most.
The number of games Keith attended throughout the years is impossible to count. One thing is for sure, though, the county center will not be the same without him.
Keith Yeiser was a giant in all ways that a man can be a giant. Tall, but with the heart of a giant, and the love for other people that I knew as a friend over the course of our time. He was an athlete himself, 1972 graduate of Rye Neck, spent his professional career in the Mamaroneck School District, Mamaroneck High School, advising and counseling young people to create another generation of great individuals. And we want to honor him today. His family is here, and I'm going to identify and ask them to come forward. Damon Yeiser, Keith's brother, whom I know well. O.J. Yeiser, Damon's wife. Joshua Yeiser, Damon's son. Juanita Thompson, Keith's sister. Rukia Yeiser, Keith's daughter. The Honorable Leilani Yeiser Reed, Keith's daughter and a Mamaroneck Village trustee, recently elected. And Yusef Yeiser, Keith's son. And I'm also going to ask Barry Suman, who's the athletic director of Mamaroneck High School, to come as well, because we have plaques for the family and for Mamaroneck High School that will honor Keith and remember him so that generations of people will know that this man lived and that he loved and was loved by all of us that knew him.
I'd like to, first of all, thank the county executive, George Latimer, his deputy county executive, Ken Jenkins, Commissioner Kathy O'Connor, and I call her the big boss, the CEO here of County Center, Veronica Snyder. County Center has been family to us for a long time. It's not just about basketball, it's just about coming here, meeting, greeting people, having a good time. As you see by today, all the people who came here who known Keith. Keith was one of a kind of person. You know, if you knew Keith, okay, not saying you knew greatness, but you just knew an honest, sincere person. He's always been upfront. He's one person that people can sit back and say that when you hear his name, you see the smile, it's always been positive. I never heard nothing negative. I'm not saying that because he's my brother, but just the people who've been here who have talked about my brother over the years. And this is a great honor, you know, for not only for my brother, but for the Yeiser family. And I can go on forever and talk about Keith, but there are other things that need to be said. Also, one omit, his other son, Gabriel, he's here, right there, everything. His name wasn't mentioned, but I just, you know, it's very hard to talk about my brother. It gets very, very, very emotional. But I love my brother. We love him. And just for all of those who knew my brother, I came today and I got his signature hat that everybody saw, that everybody knew, and that's how I want you to remember my brother, okay? And I will see you, we will see you Monday, especially all my proud Rhinebeck Panther people here. We're playing the great Valhalla High School Vikings. I see Coach Reef, who was a legend over there at Valhalla High School during his days, but it's gonna be good. And hopefully, Coach Carver, you can get that W today. You can bring back the magic, because it's been a long time since Rhinebeck and Mamaroneck has both been in the county center together. I think we go back to 1971. And another basketball legend, Mike Young, he took care of that when Mount Vernon did beat Mamaroneck. But I can say personally that when we talk about county center, I was very fortunate to raise that gold ball. In 1977, our high school, not only were we Class C champions here, we also were New York State champions. And quick tidbit, my brother Keith, just for the history, his last high school game he played was played right here at County Center when he was a senior in high school. So from the Yeiser family to all the friends, we love you. We thank you very much for this tribute. And let's go Panthers.
Thank you, Damon. I, too, want to recognize Mike Young. He and I grew up in Mount Vernon about the same time. I had, and I'm going to mention this in a second, I had no basketball game. Mike was a great basketball player, but Mike was also a pitcher. Mike threw fast And like Bob Gibson, he'd throw at you if you crowded the plate. Am I right, Mike? Am I right? You backed us off the plate like in a second if we crowded the plate on you. You had no control. Now he tells me, 50 years later, he had no control. I thought those were purposeful pitches. But in any event, as you can see, the sports community of Westchester County is a family, and there's so many people here that are part of this. Just another personal note, and of course, I'm a proud resident of Rye, so I better say go Garnets. I don't even know if we're in the tournament. But the bottom line is, that's my daughter's high school. So, but in all seriousness, I did grow up in Mount Vernon, and I was very proud of my roots there. Now, as I've just said, humorously but truthfully, in Mount Vernon, basketball was king. And I clearly did not have game. And you could go to either Hartley Park or 4th Street, and they'd look at you and they'd say, why don't you get a bat and go down to Brush Park and try some baseball, because you are not going to get to play basketball in these outdoor arenas. But what is important to understand is that you don't have to be an athlete yourself to appreciate what this opportunity is for young people. And I have the same feeling, I know Ken Jenkins has the same feeling that I had when we were at Memorial Field. We are trying to show results that matter. And young students, whether they play a sport or whether they have an artistic talent or a musical talent, or they have the talent in science for STEM and mathematics, whatever it is, we want them to have the right venue to be able to achieve and to advance. That is how their lives become better, and Westchester County becomes better when their lives are better. And the future and the success of Westchester County looks like this. It is people who are white and who are black and who are Latino and who are Asian all together. People who are old and young, tall and short, thin and fat, all different kinds of backgrounds, genders, it doesn't matter. We're together as the family of Westchester, and it is we that opened up this arena. All of those people, all of the people that helped put time and energy and effort in, and the people who are coming here to play now. And if there is a message of what democracy is, this is democracy. This is not one person's achievement. This is all of us together. And if you remind yourself of that, then that's the future that we have in Westchester and all across this country. With that thought in mind, I'm now going to ask people that know how to play basketball to kick us off. We have with us the White Plains varsity girl players. Let's take it up for the girls. And we also have some parks workers who can shoot hoop. So they say. So we're going to invite them to do what is necessary and get us underway. I want to make sure there was something else I'm supposed to say here. I'm sure there is, and I have forgotten it. I'm good? All right. All right, guys, let's go shoot some hoop and open up this arena. Ladies, gentlemen.
I'll talk wrong to you about it. Yeah, because you just want, you like digging it. Yeah, so I'll take this one just in case. I'll take it with you, but yeah, fix it. Okay. They got to love me, brother.